probably the plan of doing all those things you have just mentioned is internal, and that needs the capacity control, because we all have the capacity to do that unless we are incapacitated ourselves. Yes,
right.
I would like to also add what you have said on, there is something you had mentioned, communication.
Yeah.
You are two people who have different views. And you know, we usually say that your viewpoint determines your point of view, because where you are looking at from will actually determine how you see things. Now, you have to come together. In, we have different temperaments. There are people who are sanguines, others are melancholic, others are phlegmatic, others are choleric. By the way, that is one of the most important things to understand when it comes to interpersonal relationship, because temperaments determine how people behave. You get? Like if you fight a phlegmatic guy, they are always slow. Making decision to them is a very hard thing. You fight a choleric guy, they are risk takers, they want to do, they are the most prolific businessmen we have in women. You understand? So you must also, you must have a discussion with both of you to really understand yourselves, both of you. Now, when you have understood yourself, you can also know how to react when somebody does
something happens.
When something happens, yes.
And given that, I'll come to Horace on this important note also, is I just want to mention out, because there are many aspects that are perhaps factors that determine the coming together of a man and a woman, the building of that important institution, which is a holding block of the society. And in the event that happens to be absent, then that wall collapses, and the wall now in that regard, I mean, I'm interpreting the society. There's an aspect about materialism. Some of people on both ends do walk into the institution with a firm belief, holding that materialism is what drives marriage institution. Does that perhaps again speak to the sense that we need to reassert the sense of the African touch in our marriages, or the religious touch, because this is an institution that you're devoting to God, whether you are I'm a Muslim, and the belief is that when you are marrying, then you're building that institution and creating that link and connection to God. You are downstairs, he is upstairs, and manages the control of everything, including the breathing aspect, putting the life together, and all that happens in this world. However, is that the absence of the religious beliefs and the abandoning of our religious ways, the cultural norms, again contributing to the problems that we continue to experience, and how we're doing to get back from that position?
Wow, thank you so much. Those are very, very valid concerns. And those are a very wonderful question. There's a thin line that exists between infatuation and love. There's a thin line that exists between lust and love. Most of our youths nowadays, and most of the people nowadays, they enter this institution, and there are actually three ways of entering this institution of marriage. The first way, I would, for lack of a better term, I would say come, we stay, then love, then marriage. And then the other way would be love, then marriage, and then we stay together. Then the other way would be actually marriage first, then you enter love, then come, we stay. Isn't it? Those are actually three various points. Now, beginning with the one that works best is love, then marriage, then we stay together. You understand? You consolidate, you actually able to bond as the years go by. You go through troubles, you go through hardships together. You probably married when this person did not have a job. You probably got married when this person was earning peanuts, and you are able to actually go through the financial literacy point aspects of a marriage. You are able to manage your debts, you are able to work hard, you are able to invest as a couple, and at the same time bearing in mind that you are able to be honest with each other, running your accounts and keeping your accounts open to each other, producing the M-Pesa statements, and just avoiding all those manner of patterns and hard PIN codes over the phone. In other words, just being honest. And that is what I call vulnerability. That is not what is happening. I take you back to our to our good friends Abraham and Sarah, and you found that these people stayed in the marriage long enough, 100 years, more than 200 years. What is this thing that they did differently? Is that they invited God in this institution. That is not what is happening today in our society. Many things inform, just like I said before, inform the beliefs of these youths. Most of the youths today, you are in campus, then probably you are driving a vehicle, then I'm on this other side, and this gives rise to the issues of slay queens. I've had the slay queens,
and
the slay kings, and the pressure that
that
comes, isn't it? I want to fit into the society. I want a man who has achieved. I want a guy who is driving a Porsche vehicle V8, not knowing the formula. Did I steal? Probably this person has been given by the parent. Now, what normally happens is that when we begin living together, when you begin living together as a couple, what is this thing that brought you? If this vehicle is not there at that particular time, if this money is not there, and I like the point that you brought about materialism. Most of our youths, most of the people today enter this money, they are materialistic. I got married to you, I did not love you, it was actually infatuation last.
Maybe for financial gain?
Yeah, maybe for financial gains. And when this thing topple up, you realize that the things that were holding us together, the building that were holding us together, they are no longer there. Then infidelity comes in. If I have a craving appetite of consuming and just being materialistic, I'll still move into another person who is able to give me money, and then infidelity comes in. And when infidelity comes in, then there is betrayal, and then there is killings, there is homicide, taking away the life, and all those manner of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the cases that we have just also highlighted, because they seem to be cropping up and mushrooming in the country. There's that exponential sense of growth in the fallout of couples in many marriages, and the end result hasn't been or rather it's not been impressive either, owing to the killings and what is happening across the country. Some even before even entering into the marriage institution, killing themselves. The story of Ivy Wangeshi, and the fact that the Naftali Kinuthia did make that financial and psychological investment into her, and the fact that there hasn't been smooth growth towards the end of attaining the marriage, then he had to act by that. To him, though, it's well, because he made that investment in her. And coming to you, David, on this important note again, I was talking to an elder, and he pointed out two key issues. He said that at some point, love will end, but patience and understanding will hold together your union beyond that age, let's say 50 and above. Maybe you're married in your 20s, 30 years later, of course, you'll not be in the same quality when it comes to your biological makeup and, of course, your outlook either. And he said that it's at this point that there will be the intervention of patience and understanding between the two people in that house. There are kids on the other end, there are issues that you need to attend to, and you have a societal role at the end of the day to undertake. So what is the role of patience in a marriage institution, and how well do we need to understand that, bring that out, and how important is it to the young people now who are under a lot of immense pressure owing to what's happening across social media platforms and the hurry in which they want to gain this posh life and standards?
Okay, I will say that probably the definition you have used of love, I don't know how I can put it, because love will never end. For any relationship to hold together, whether of a businessman, whether of a family, there must be love. Patience is a component of love.
Which is important, isn't it?
Exactly. Very important. Patience is very important, and we must address this head on. Today, people, we are dealing with a microwave generation, a generation that wants things pop. But we must learn from the old that patience pays. So this must be cultivated. There are people who are naturally, as we were saying, people have different temperaments. And one of the temperaments that never knows how to wait is these guys called sanguines. They want things now and now. You understand? So you have to cultivate patience by yourself, because that one cannot come from without. It can only come from within. But in that, I think there must be a lot of communication between both of you. Because let me tell you, there is a wise man who said that if you delay something, hope delayed makes hope deferred, makes the heart sick. So what happens between couples, they must continue talking to each other so that they give each other hope, even when things are not going the right way. You understand? Because lack of proper communication is what kills hope. Just like I've said, hope deferred makes the heart seek.
Okay.
And that is what you are calling the head of love as per your definition. But can I add something on there?
No, briefly, because of
when
time.
it comes to patience, there must be proper communication this way. If there be a conflict, and there will always be,
Okay.
you must use the right words. A wise man said that a soft answer turns away wrath. We must always look for the right soft answers that will not infuriate the other person and make them feel uncomfortable in your presence.
Okay. Horace Ocheng, one final comment from you on this important note. We have talked about the materialism aspect, we have talked about the patience aspect, we have talked about the commitment aspect, and we have talked about the values that we have abandoned and that we need to reinstill back in the institutions of marriage across the world, because it's not only a Kenyan affair, an African affair, an individual affair. It's a humanity affair, because it does act as the bedrock principle of the continuity in procreation and the establishment of the society. Then how do we need to entrench all these that I've mentioned, in the sense that we not only undertake that entrenchment process, but also deep root them so that they can be the anchor point of all that happens. And when the anchoring point is perhaps strong, then all that's up top is strong.
Yeah, we need to advise our youths to take the institutions very seriously. And even as we advise them, those of us who are already in the institution should already be able to set good examples, because we don't need to portray marriage as something that is bad, something that is wicked, something that doesn't work.
Okay.
And while at it, we need to develop a curriculum and strictly guide our youths, offer guidance and counseling, guiding our youths and anchoring them into integrity and good morality in the society. I want to say that we need to teach them that if you rush, you will not get a wife, but you'll get a knife. And also, if you rush, you will get a hunchback and not a husband. They need to be patient, like he said, but we again need to anchor them in the word, and we need to anchor them in the right principles, the right doctrines. We need to look at what we teach them in the country. Probably we need to tell them you don't need to enter sexual sin so that you live with a person. You need to be patient and hold on until you enter that particular place. You need to uphold and give God a place in that particular
and patience,
place.
that's pay.
And patience, please.
Thank you so much, Horace Ocheng, consultant, Golden Thoughts Consultancy. I do appreciate your time.
Thank you.